phone for 3 hours. Let me finish.
I'm on the phone for 56 minutes.
But why?
But why? Because of Rays baseball. That's why. Oh, my gosh. That was tough to watch.
The Rays suck, man.
Well, they did today, okay? But let's calm down a little bit. Now, a split isn't the worst thing in the world. But, I'll say but, when you win the last two games, great shutout win last night. McClanahan looked awesome. Jonathan Aranda drove in all 3 runs. How about Brian Baker, man? Let me tell you something, okay? I haven't felt this way about a Rays closer in quite some time, where he comes into the game and you're not worried because you know he's going to close the door. And that's what Brian Baker gives you. He gives you the confidence that when he enters the game, and I love the whole intro that they have for him when he does come into the game. I think it lights a fire under the fans. It lights a fire under him, and we know already, after having talked to him a couple of times here on the show, I mean, he gets all fired up and gassed up. And when you see the Yankees on the other side, you're already gassed up if you're the Rays. Taylor Walls told us that the other day. So when he comes into the game, you know it's on lockdown. You know the game is all but over. And last night was a great night. And you're coming into the game this afternoon thinking, we got our best starting pitcher on the mound. We have Drew Rasmussen, all-star for the second time. He's on the bump. I like my chances. But that's why they play the games, and that's why baseball is so odd. That's why baseball is so unpredictable. And Drew Rasmussen, for the second straight start, did not have his best stuff going, and the Yankees were able to get to him. They had one very big inning, and that was all she wrote. And that game meant everything for the Yankees. After what happened last night and Aaron Boone getting kicked out of the game and their bench coach also get ejected, and I did go to the game last night and they won. Now, I didn't go today, and they are probably going to lose today, you know, with or without me being in attendance. Rasmussen was not at his best. Look, when your best pitcher is Ben Williamson, you know you've had a rough day. Ben Williamson retired the side on, 5 pitches? So today was not a great day. And, you know, the frustrating part about it is, you know, the Rays actually got off to a 1-0 lead thanks to Junior Caminero going oppo 438 feet. That was beautiful. Unfortunately, it was downhill from there for your Tampa Bay Rays. Yankees with that big 6-run third inning. They had 1 in the 4th, 3 more in the 6th, and then, you know, the rout was on at that point. The Rays lose 12-4, so the Yankees, who desperately needed to win that game meant way more to the Yankees than it did to the Rays. Because if you lose that game, you're 6 games out. And you're 7 out in the loss column. So, but as it stands here, after the 4 games just played, even Steven, the Yankees don't gain any ground. Obviously, the Rays didn't gain any ground. The Rays didn't lose any ground. But the Yankees still have a lot of issues to work out. But they did get some good news today in that Aaron Judge is going to have, finally, his rib, his stress fracture looked at next week. And the Yankees are crossing their fingers, hoping they can get him back in a couple of weeks, maybe. But the good news is that he is going to be reevaluated, and we've been waiting for that to happen because he's been out since June the 1st. And without him, the Yankees are a below 500 team. That Ben Rice, man, he gave the Rays all they could handle. Yeah, no doubt about that. He had a tremendous game today. Couple of home runs. He had a really good series. I mean, he's the one guy in that lineup you have to be very mindful of, and I think he wrecked the Rays in this series. I mean, he is like the lone Yankee bat who can do damage, and he did. So a little bit of credit goes to the Yankees. They had to win that game today. You can't fall 6 out overall, 7 out in the loss column heading into the All-Star break because maybe that's curtains. Now, the good news is that the Rays have won 6 of the 9 meetings, and now they will not face the Yankees until late September. They just need one more win over the Yankees in order to clinch the season series, which means the Rays would have a leg up because there is no more playoff, play-in, whatever you want to call it. If you win the season series, you're going to win the AL East if, for whatever reason, these two teams end up being tied at the end of the season. So you just need to win one more game against the Yankees, and then that will be the end of it. But today was certainly disappointing considering you had a chance to win the series, take 3 out of 4. You had your best pitcher on the mound, and it didn't come together for the Rays. 888-388-0957. Text at 82945. We have Let It Ride coming up at the bottom of the hour. We have some props on, the American League East, over-under win totals. I can't wait for that, Kevin Cash. Tarek Skubal, if he gets moved, if he gets traded, who are the odds-on favorite to land him, plus manager of the year, and some other really cool prop bets? We're going to get into it. Let It Ride is at the bottom of the hour, and we're on the air to 6 o'clock, and I believe the great Rock Riley will be gracing our airwaves then.
He will. He will be there, and he was at the Trop today, got to witness Gruden's first pitch, which, Tom, tomorrow, as we all know, we're going to hear from the great John Gruden on this very show. He'll lead off the show at 2:05, so we'll get to hear about.
Come up with some new stuff, Tom.
Well, we're going to find out about that strikeout, or that strike he threw right down the middle. That was a beautiful pitch.
And he wasn't standing on the mound. He was standing toward the third base side, and he did one of these things where he was backing up as a quarterback throwing a baseball, and Shane McClanahan caught the first pitch. It was a perfect strike. Maybe the Rays should have put Gruden into the in the game, after
you freaking people.
I'm telling you. And Johnny Boy threw a strike. That's outstanding. But he will join us tomorrow. We got a huge show tomorrow. We'll tell you about all of the wonderful guests that will be joining us on tomorrow's show a little bit later on before we get out of here. We also have What's On Tonight a little bit later on as well. So, unfortunately, that's what it looked like today for the Rays. And now the Mariners come into town. Longo Legacy weekend time for the Rays, as that will take place tomorrow night. And then, of course, Saturday and Sunday, the festivities with Longo going into the Rays Hall of Fame. And then his number will get retired on Sunday. The upper deck is open. RaysBaseball.com. Get your tickets. They're giving away some awesome collectibles this weekend. I'm wearing this Devil Rays hat that they're giving away, and I put it on social media. It's phenomenal, dude. And there's a Longo number 3 hat, too. I think I might wear that. I'm going to the game on Saturday. We'll both be there at the game Saturday, so I think that's going to be a really festive atmosphere. Look, the last check, it was like $25, less than $30 for an upper deck ticket. It's not bad. The vantage point up there is pretty good. So if you don't mind, heights and being all the way up there, it's a tremendous vantage point to watch a game. I've watched a game from the upper deck. This is obviously years ago at the Trop, but it's a really cool thing to witness. And it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. I mean, less than $30, you'll be able to sit up there. So it's not bad. Plus, you'll be indoors. It's just scorching. I mean, it's so oppressively hot outside. So being indoors is a good thing. Speaking of being indoors, last night, so I was at the game, and I was talking with a Rays official right at the exact time that the email dropped and the Rays released the renderings of their new proposed ballpark. And I have to say, I'm very impressed. The translucent roof, the 2 gigantic scoreboards inside, the plaza, you enter through the center field area, the Rays tank is there. I don't know about the retractable batter's eye. I'm not sure, what the theme is for that. But overall, you're talking about a capacity of about 30,000. It looks great. And hopefully we can get this thing over the finish line and get the deal done and have a shovel in the ground by September so that we're ready for opening day 2029. But the renderings look fantastic, and I think it's going to be a treasure. here in the Tampa Bay area.
I was curious, too, about that batter's eye you're talking about that they say is a big deal. Mark Tompkins said earlier on the inside pitch he believes that has more to do with, like, concerts there when they do concerts at the venue. It'll be more for, like, events and things of that nature is his guesstimation.
Look, they will have that building available for concerts and everything else. I mean, if you're looking for a bigger venue, Raymond James Stadium at 65,000 right across the street. If you're looking for something, smaller at around 30,000, that's what the new Rays Stadium will provide. And honestly, I'd rather probably go to a concert at the new Rays Stadium because obviously there's going to be a novelty factor attached to it. You're going to be comfortable inside, air conditioning, especially if whomever decides to play there comes in the heat of summer, in the middle of the summer, in May, June, July, August. So it's going to be open for a number of different events, not just exclusive to Rays baseball during the baseball season. During non-baseball season, you will be hosting quite a few events in that building. So it's not just going to be, hey, we're the Rays and this is only going to be for us. It's going to be a venue that will be all-encompassing, hosting many, many events throughout the course of the year. And I do believe that Major League Baseball, if we get that thing built, will award us an all-star game. I think that will absolutely happen. I'll bet on that. Speaking of betting, somebody was just texting in, hey, Tom, I saw that you hit 2 out of 3. Yeah, I did. 2 out of 3 ain't good enough. You got to go 3 out of 3. That was last night. I had the Rays. I had Aranda hitting a home run. He came close. That double, he came close. That son of a gun. Yeah, it was 2 out of 3 because Aranda didn't hit a home run, but he drove in all 3 runs. I had Caminero today driving in a run and having a hit and the Rays winning. Obviously, 2 out of 3 worked. The Rays winning did not work as they were beaten handily by the Yankees 12-4. So the Rays are now 54-37. Yankees are 51-42. Rays are 4 games up, 5 up in the loss column. A win today would have been crushing for the Yankees. I mean, a win for the Rays would have really dealt a serious blow to the Yankees. It would have been a 2-game difference. I mean, it would have been 6 games instead of 4, and then 7 games instead of 5 in the loss column. But it didn't happen. It wasn't meant to be. Rays have to put it behind them. The Mariners come into town this weekend with Randy Arozarena. That should be a spectacle. And then, of course, you got Longo Legacy Weekend. RaysBaseball.com. Get your tickets. We'll be there at some point this weekend. Definitely Saturday. I don't think I'm going tomorrow night, but definitely Saturday. I'll be there with my guy Brad Meredith, the great people over at Moss Nissan. Chris Mathis, you're going to be in the building on Saturday as well?
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there for sure. I hope that's the day they do the Tantric Live for Evan Longoria, where they play it live for him as he does his final walkout.
I think somebody was telling me they're playing at Ferg's. Is that right?
Oh,
Tantric?
I didn't know that.
If do a quick search. I think somebody told me that last night. I ran into a lot of different people, but I think my understanding is they might be playing at Ferg's at some point this weekend. Could be wrong.
Yeah, you're right. After Sunday's game, Tantric will perform a free concert at Ferg's.
How about that?
Wow.
All right.
That is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool, too. We got Let It Ride coming up. Before we go to break, the Major League Baseball trade deadline, we have 3 weeks, and gosh, it's fast approaching. This weekend's going to be a busy weekend for the Rays. You've got the Mariners in town, Longo Legacy Weekend. Evan Longoria will be honored. The Major League Baseball Amateur Draft will take place this weekend. On Saturday, the Rays will have the 2nd overall pick. Eric Neander is scheduled to join us on the show tomorrow, I think much to his own chagrin.
Yeah.
So when we know, we'll let you know. But it's going to be a very busy weekend for the Rays. And then Once you get through the All-Star break, that's when things will truly heat up when it comes to the Major League Baseball trade deadline. And right now, it's a little complicated. And the reason why is that there are a lot of teams right here, right now, who believe that they are still in the mix, that they are still vying for a wild card spot. You look at the American League, you've got right now the Yankees with the top wild card, Guardians and Rangers have the other 2 wild card spots. The Twins, whom a lot of people thought would be selling, the Twins are 1 game out. The Astros, who have a couple of really enticing pieces, are 1.5 games out. Blue Jays 2.5 out. The Red Sox are 2.5 out. The Orioles are 4 out. I think the Orioles would be selling. And then you have the Tigers. Everyone's pointing to Tarek Skubal. Tigers have won 4 in a row, and they're within 4 games of the last wild card. I think in the next 2 to 3 weeks, this will settle itself. Okay, this has a knack of really working itself out on its own volition. So right now, these teams, these fringe teams like Blue Jays, Astros, Red Sox, they think like they might be in it because they're all within 3 games of a playoff spot. Let it play out. LIPO. Remember? LIPO. Let it play out. And I think in 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to find that some of these teams will fall out of the race. Same thing in the National League. Cubs, Phillies, Marlins, the top 3. Cardinals are 2 games out. Then you have the Nationals, 3.5 out. The Pirates, who are 47 and 47, they're 4.5 out, as well as the Padres, 4.5 out. So in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to separate the contenders from the pretenders, and then the trade market will gain more clarity, and it will begin to crystallize and materialize, and then we'll find out who's truly selling, and then that's when the serious trade talks will start to really gain some steam. But I noticed Jeff Passan had an article at ESPN.com. I know we got to get to break, and Let It Ride's coming up. But he analyzed every single team that is in contention, and he predicts what they will do. For example, he's got the Rays right now, first place. And he says the major weakness, top of the lineup impact. Has Jeff Passan watched many Rays games or what? I don't know. Yandy Diaz hitting leadoff. Jonathan Aranda hitting second. Junior Caminero hitting third. And he says the best match, Luis Arise, the Giants second baseman. And he said the dream match would be Astros shortstop Jeremy Pena. Now, if there's anything we know about the Rays, he's pointing out the second base position and the shortstop position. Right now, offensively speaking, in terms of power production, those are 2 extremely weak positions, including the catching position, by the way. And that's why catcher was also named. So the positions up the middle, I think center field with Johnny DeLuca, you might be fine there, but second base, obviously, problem area. We love Taylor Walls at shortstop. He is tremendous defensively, but he's not going to give you much in the way of power numbers, slugging numbers, et cetera, et cetera. And the same can be said really from the catching position. So the Rays need a bat, but identifying which position that you're going to import that bat from is going to be the major dilemma, I think, for Eric Neander and company. I like Jeremy Pena a lot. He's got 1 more year left of control. Remember, a former LCS and World Series MVP. You know, he hits for a little bit of power. He can run. He can defend. You know, I would say, by the way, that Carson Williams, I think the Rays are setting that guy up to be a possible trade chip. He's been playing every day down at Durham. He's showing some power. The Rays are giving him some spot starts here and there at second base, but we know shortstop, he was once upon a time one of their brightest prospects. It would not surprise me to see Carson Williams go in a trade for maybe a second baseman or a shortstop. So keep that in mind. All right, when we come back, your calls and texts on what you saw today, very disappointing out of the Rays. We're on the air to 6 o'clock. What's on tonight a little bit later on as well. But can the Rays get over the win total. What is the win total at this point in the season? A little let it ride action coming up next.
You're tuned in to The Drive with TKras.
The Drive is driven by our guys over at Moss Nissan. Their goal is to never lose your business over price. TKras and Chris Mathis here. Saw the great Brad Merritt the other night. We'll be hanging out at the Rays game this weekend. And need to come on down to see the all-new lineup of 2026 Nissans. They are awesome. And plus, with every vehicle purchase, you'll get Moss Care. It's industry exclusive. It's a lifetime of oil changes and tire rotations for as long as you own the vehicle. Plus, they're now offering Sunday service hours, too.
Yeah, Tom, I drove my Nissan Sentra up to visit family in North Florida last weekend. I told them about Moss Care because they were curious. They were bragging on my new car, and I told them how great it was, and they couldn't believe it. They're like, wow, you cannot beat that. I said Moss Nissan is amazing, and also get this. This is new, Tom, as of today. A little birdie just told me if you bring your best written trade-in offer from another dealership to Moss Nissan, they are going to beat at any of the 3 locations here in the Bay Area.
That would be Tampa, Newport Richie, or Brooksville. That's an awesome deal, and their goal is to never lose your business over price. You can also check out their inventory online at mossnissan.com. Moss Nissan, whatever it takes.